I love our new music. It's so good. It's so rocky. It's so good. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Absolutely Women's Football Show. It's been a mammoth week of international games, and we are back to share our favourites with you. We've all picked two each. And yeah, we can't wait to get started now. We do also have the Lionesses match on at the moment, which everyone is eagerly watching. And thank you to everyone who's putting updates in the chat as well, especially to Chris, who's also keeping us updated on the Belgium-Portugal score as well, which is currently 1-0 up with a penalty scored by Silva in the 51st minute. Thank you very much. So good evening to everyone. Thank you so much. Now, I was just saying, I was watching it on a stream. However, the stream has just gone down for a breach of policy violation.
Oh.
So
what you done?
I'll put my iPad down.
Freya's been watching too much Emmerdale.
1-0.
Is it?
1-0, go on then.
Just Park.
Jess Park.
Oh, Serena's running.
Oh, blimey. Go on. It's still 0-0 on mine, so I'm living. I might get a cheeky pound on quickly.
Get it done. Right, I'm quickly logging into
miles behind
ITV as we go. Hang on.
Yeah, you are.
England have just won the Euros on my TV. Oh, here we go. This looks dangerous.
Well, interestingly, it came up on my TV. Watch England Spain full match replay from the World Cup, and I was like, no. we do not need to revisit that. Thank you very much. Apologies if the sound comes on in a moment.
Oh, Serena, I love that little jog from Serena there.
I mean, I'm missing all the drama because I'm trying to log in. What is going on? Right then, we're gonna mute. Oh no, not watch from start. I don't want that. No.
I'm so happy for Jess Park as well, by the way. That's great.
Yes, absolutely. Because we've all said like how much talent she's got. So the fact that she is scoring on the big stage now and starting is
there's a lovely bit of work from Leslie as well before that to turn and go in on goal and force the save that Jess taps in on. That's
I like you see somebody in the background go, just set up right before it goes in.
I was going to say this is going to be interesting because we're all at different points in the actual streaming service. So One Football's just give me the notification that we've gone 1-0 up. So who knows? Who knows? But as soon as someone knows something, just shout. We'll do it that way. I'm currently watching an advert, so I'll be with everyone.
Get 2 holidays very soon.
I know, got to get that advert in for follow on milk currently. It might know I have a baby. You're
gonna have Joy next.
The joys. No, I don't want another one. ITV and adverts. We said it before we went live. ITV4. What is this? What is going on? We deserve better, even on a Wednesday night. Now, coming back to the pod, of course. We will be doing this all night, so I apologise if it gets a bit chaotic. But yeah, go on.
Sorry, I was just checking what else was on. Oh, sorry, is that coming out? Hold on. I was checking what was pushing this back to ITV4. Corrie on ITV1.
Well, Corrie, yeah.
Anton Deck's Limitless Win on ITV2, obviously important. Towie, that's how you say it, isn't it? Towie. Oh no, that's its own TV channel. Why has that got its own TV channel? It's the only way is Essex TV. What is going on?
I mean, that's impressive.
We've got Grace is on ITV3, and then ITVB we got Dinner Date. So obviously all important stuff that's pushing this back all the way back to ITV4. Obviously.
There's a Love Island channel. How long's that been there? What is going on?
I am available to read TV guides from other stations if anyone wants to pay me some money.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this app's having me on. I've just watched 5 adverts. And it keeps pausing. I'm no closer to getting this game on. Right. Let's try again, shall we? Oh, there it is. I just had a refresh. Right, we're good. It's going to be a long night. So the eagle-eyed amongst you, of course, will have noticed we've got someone new on the panel this evening. Sean, lovely to have you. How are you?
I'm good. I'd like to get out there straight away. This England love thing, brilliant. I don't want England to win. Let's just get this out of the way now. I am Welsh. I don't like England whatsoever. I loved the World Cup. fantastic. So I don't want England to win. So if you see everyone else cheering, I won't be at all. But it's a pleasure to be here. And I really wasn't happy with that goal to start off proceedings, but it can only get better as the night goes on.
The night is young, Sean. Don't worry. There will be some drama. We will probably lose, so don't worry. And of course, all opinions are welcome on the pod. We're very welcoming, aren't we? But yeah, we'd love to have everyone. Chris says, welcome to the pod. And Tony said, it's all right because I don't like Wales. So it's all good. It's all good.
Well, only because he's Swedish. That's why he doesn't like Wales. I can tell him that much.
Well, we're going to talk about Sweden later on, aren't we? But yeah, we've got masses of games to talk about, and we also do have our lovely Paul joining us in a few moments as well, as soon as he can. Now, while all that's going on, we do have some news as usual to start off with. We've got the good, the bad, and the ugly, and I'm going to start with the bad. Because, as my shrine behind me has introduced, Adriana Leon has left Aston Villa for San Diego with. That announcement came out yesterday, and that is the second player to leave Villa for San Diego in this window with no replacement, might I just add. She's their second highest goal scorer. She's scored more goals than Gabby Nunes, who they paid a lot of money for in the summer for no real reason. We didn't need a forward. Can I get some perspective from other people so it's not just me having a bit of a rant? Danny, when that kind of came out, we all kind of went, sorry. But yeah,
we had to cancel you a little bit, didn't we, when that came out?
Yes, I did.
It doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? If I'm honest. Especially in the position that Villa are in. I don't want to bring it up, but the positions that Villa are in at the minute, needing that experience and needing that kind of play with a bit of continuity about them, and someone who has really bought into Villa, I think, as a club. It's baffling. I think it doesn't make much sense at all, especially seeing as though you can't really replace her either at the minute.
And that's the thing, because you can sign free agents, can't you? But it's whether there's availability.
Yeah,
and but who's out there, who's gonna want to come, because at the minute who's gonna want to come to Villa, because it feels like a sinking ship, and that's so hard to say. Sean, Chloe, have you got any thoughts on that? Because she disappeared for a bit, so we all kind of hated the thought of it, but yeah, the fact it's actually a reality, it's not good, is it?
Yeah, it does sort of suck when a player sort of gets sort of wrenched away from you, especially a great one like Adriana Leon. I remember sort of like years ago when we had Crystal Dunn, who had certain rights, I think it was, in the NWSL, and then got sort of taken away before, really she wanted to and we wanted to. But such is how the league operates, unfortunately.
It's just the fact that we thought the end of the window was done and gone, and we were like, right, we've lost Kenza, we've lost Annalie, that should be it. And then suddenly it's like, and we'd like to confirm the departure of Adriana Leon. It's like, no. It's outside the window. But of course, the NWSL is coming back, so we do wish her all the best. But my heart's a bit broken, guys. Not gonna lie. And we all kind of went, so championship season tickets now, guys. should we all start saving? Because it's not good at all. No worries, Danny. No worries at all. And here he is, Paul. How you doing?
Not too bad. Hello everybody. I made the mistake of watching with Kerry, because Kerry's a little ill, so I was keeping an eye on her, and that finished just before past, and then I'm rubbish at getting ready, so that's why I took so long. I made the mistake of watching 24 Hours in Police Custody, and it made me really annoyed because it was one of those arsehole criminals that you hate. So I'm coming on here to talk about England and other stuff. Already a little riled up, so buckle up. Hello, Sean, by the way.
Everyone get your popcorn.
I thought you were going to say you were watching Ant and Dec on the wrong ITV channel for a minute.
Yeah. It's like, where's the Lionesses? They were meant to be on the telly.
Why is there a Towie channel for crying out loud?
I can't see, man. I can't see the Lionesses. There you go. There's one for the chat.
That's a classic one.
Someone
in the chat's going to get that somewhere.
Another video accent referee coming in there. So yes, we do still have the England game on, of course. 1-0 to England through Jess Park in the 40th minute. Sorry, Sean. But it will get worse. Don't you worry. Spain will come back in the second half with about 10 goals. Now, so that was the bad news. We're now going to go on to the ugly news this week. So yeah, Paul, I was just saying we've got the good, the bad, and the ugly for news. Did everyone see, unfortunately, the Australian radio presenter that likened the Matildas to year 10 girls? Okay. Now, subsequently, I will share the full thing in a moment because it was horrendous. Subsequently, mutually parted ways with the radio station and has since released a statement sincerely apologising to the Matildas. I don't think it was very sincere, to be honest. I think it was very forced. Now, this was, I'm going to share his name because avoid him at all costs. Marty Sheargold. Now, he announced on nationwide radio, Triple M is the name of the radio station, that the Matildas reminded him of year 10 girls and implied that their matches are boring. He said, all of the infighting and friendship issues, I'm sorry to undermine the whole sport, but that's what I think of it. His colleague then mentioned the Matildas are currently playing in the She Believes Cup. Marty then interrupted with a laugh and said, oh, she believes in what? It better be men. He then criticised Australia hosting the Asian Cup later this year, saying, I'd rather hammer a nail through the head of my you-know-what than watch that. Have you got any men's sport to tell us about? Now, Paul, as you're on a ranting mood, do you want to take this one when this came out? Because that's vile, isn't it?
Yeah. It makes Alan Brazil look like fucking Ian Wright, doesn't it? Like, honestly.
Fair.
Sorry, I'll let a word out then. I apologise. We're all adults here, aren't we? Are we?
Hope so. Sorry to any children watching.
If there are any children in the chat, don't use some of the words that Paul uses, right? Like I am. Anyway, yes. The thing that concerned me the most, and I think it was our very own Rosie who's retweeted someone else making the point, and I saw it then. The most concerning thing about it is what do they believe in? They better believe in men joke like that. That's icky on so many different levels. Like,
yeah,
the oh lol, women's football is crap stuff is something we've all seen all the time, and we all sigh because people still cling to the Team USA losing to Team Dallas in a non-actual game 10 years ago now. It must have been 16, that whole infamous thing. But to take this guy's a 50-year-old odd man on a nationally syndicated radio show, because it was Triple M Melbourne that he was on, but Triple M are like Radio 1 in the UK basically, but a commercial version of that, something like Heart or Galaxy.
Yeah.
This is my research. This is having a brother living in Melbourne. I asked them about this.
There we go.
We hear them all the time. And Aussie radio is a bit more robust than British radio. If you've ever seen it on Instagram, some of the clips are absolutely hilarious of some of the chat shows, and they let a lot more go. So the fact that Aussie radio has heard these comments of of what he thought was just laddie banter,
yeah,
and was clearly thought of by laddie banter by the rest of the cast, because they say, oh, we're hosting the She Believes Cup, and he jumps in and the rest of the room laughs, and it's
there's no one pointing out you shouldn't have done that, mate.
And
come on now, none of that.
If I remember correctly, it's a mixed gender panel as well, because if it's a bunch of lads, you go, yeah, fair enough. Now obviously there may be many reasons why the women in the room felt like they couldn't speak out and challenge it. So no criticism here. But the fact that he felt comfortable as a radio presenter, making that joke about, oh, they better believe in men, you know, reducing professional athletes to that. Professional athletes, a lot of whom aren't interested in men in that way, as we know. You know, it's homophobic, it's misogynistic, it's transphobic, it's
everything we hate about the backlash that women's sport in general gets from a particular kind of man.
And it's more the fact as well that he, you know, because obviously my day job is working in radio, and I would never even have considered getting in the same postcode as a joke like that.
Well, no, because it comes down to professional standards, doesn't it? And that's the same with every job. Like, you can have a joke and you can have a bit of a laugh when it's actually funny, but when you're starting to degrade other people, it's like that.
Like I've had conversations about women's sport, and you know, in an ice hockey locker room, and people have said things, and I've looked at it and kind of gone, "Well, yeah, all right, you're a bit of a dick. I disagree with you." But then I'll make jokes about men's sport that would probably have me ripped to shreds by people on Twitter for, you know, having a go at men's football or whatever else, and possibly have people try and see things in it that weren't. But this was unambiguous what he was saying. You know, the tone of it, it just makes your skin crawl. The way he says it, everything, it's just horrific.
It's gross, isn't it? It's horrible.
Yeah,
like the thing is as well, they've got a responsibility as a media outlet to be promoting your own sports and your own teams and your own professionals, your own sportswomen who have brought so much attention to your country. They've brought so much more attention to the sport in general than the men's team have ever done, from my memory. The World Cup, everything they've done in the World Cup. I think the semi-final was the most watched sports event in Australian history. The quarterfinal, I think, was the second most watched. You've got things like Ashley Barty winning or being in finals that have been in sort of around about the top 5 as well. You know, women's sports is front and central to Australian culture, and you've just dragged it down. And you've got a responsibility as a media outlet to be on it and promoting it rather than bringing it down. And they've just tried to bring it down. And it's just so icky and gross. And the whole mutual consent thing as well, I'm just not having at all. Like, just say you've sacked him, because what you've done by saying mutual consent is, it's a decision that we both made. He shouldn't have had any decision to make at all. And that, to me, like, it shouldn't be a decision. It should be like, right, you're sacked for that. Get out. It just puts them in such a bad light. No, sorry, go on.
Yeah, you don't represent our radio station.
As well about it is, and it's not just Aussie media, because English media did it as well. I'm going to single out TalkSport here in particular, not for the Alan Brazil thing, although that's obvious. But Triple M is a national radio station. It broadcasts Aussie rules football, and you know it is known for its commercial national sports coverage, like TalkSport is. You know, this is my nerdy research. Its slogan is literally music, rock, and sport. That's what it sells itself on.
Oh, okay.
And so presumably the Matildas, like Danny says, are going to be a huge draw for them, a huge part of Australian sporting culture now, because they've made themselves that. You know, if their matches are more watched than an Ashes match or a State of Origin game or an AFL Grand Final in Australia, if that's the level that those matches are reaching in Australian sporting stuff, that is, as everybody said, seismic. And Triple M are a part of that. And it freaks me out when they, just as TalkSport have with the Women's World Cup with people like Simon Jordan, on the one hand, they've got this, it's brilliant, we have people talking about this. But then they allow bigoted, questionable, bitter, older men, normally, because it is. Let's be real here. It's a very particular type of person.
Yeah.
Who they might allow on for the clicks, for the outrage, because, you know, let's face it, Nobody else, very few people outside Australia knew who Triple M were. Now everybody knows Triple M is because of this bloke.
Yeah.
But what, like Danny says, why would you trash your own intellectual property? What?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's a joke and very poor taste that's reflected horrendously on them, on the station, on everything, on to some extent that part of Australian culture that don't want to accept how successful the Matildas are because they're women, and there's that underlying fact as well, isn't it?
It's fed all the horrific stuff around Sam Kerr as well, because you look at some of the response to it, and again, it's all the people who like it are the people who are like, even the Matilda statement, which was very good, by the way, refuting that and basically calling out the media in Australia. If you look at the replies to that, it was full of people who were, again, of a very certain demographic, usually, going, well, Australians don't like your racist football team with its racist captain and all that stuff. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, it just fuels the fire, doesn't it, for a particular kind of person? But yeah, so thankfully he is off the air, and we don't have to listen to that anymore. So hopefully people have taken note that people across the world do not find that acceptable, and people with those views will be held accountable, and hopefully never get to share them again, because it's just undermining and completely derailing, like you said, all the work that the Matildas have done, and that's going to be a stain now. Because people are going to remember that moment, aren't they? In that. So yeah, just want to bring that to everyone's attention, just in case anyone missed it. Horrendous thing that has now been, I won't say squandered. That's not the word. Has been put in a box, shut away. So hopefully we never have to talk about it again. Now, are we ready for some good news though? After those two, this is man of the people, Brian Sorensen, our Bri. Friend of the podcast, and the whole Everton fan base as an extension of that. Now, don't know if people have seen, but there was a shout out from an Everton fan for his fellow Everton fan, who just found out that he'd been diagnosed with terminal cancer, so wanted to get to a game while he still could, and so put a shout out saying, if anyone can help for, I think it was for one of two games, wasn't it? Could anyone help? Now, when I first saw it, and there'll be more by now, there were 95,000 views on it and a massive comments underneath with people offering their tickets, including our Brian, who said, I've got 2 season tickets free. You're more than welcome to them if you want. But him being head of Everton women and being able to do it. And of course, so many other Evertonians as well. And just share some good news that can come from Twitter. So Sean, what does it say for a manager? Because not all managers would do that, would it? But how does that reflect on kind of him as, I don't know, because he's very underrated, isn't he, for who he is? But to have a manager like that in the WSL, we're quite lucky, aren't we, to have him?
Yeah, I mean, you can talk about his managerial credentials, tactics, whatever. But this is a man who I think has come into Everton and has understood the culture of Everton very quickly. And this is a family club, and he has got that instantly. And he didn't have to say anything. He could have message privately even or whatever, but just put in the comments as normal as possible. I've got some season tickets, you can have them. It's just beautiful, and I think it's just a lovely man, a lovely gesture, and a lovely club as well. And full credit to him. We can do with some more Brian Sorensens in this world, to be very honest.
Yes, we absolutely could, and we just needed that as our good news to end up on for our news roundup, because what a fan base and what a club to just say, I can miss a game, it doesn't matter, if I can share these tickets, I can. So yeah, I just want to bring that to everyone's attention. Now let's get on to some matches, shall we? Now, Danny, I'm going to come to you first because you're representing our young Lionesses this evening, both of them. But shall we start with their first match against Germany, where we sadly lost, but got some cracking talent, haven't we?
Absolutely. I think this is the first time I've been asked to represent something young for years, so that's good. I'll try the best I can. Under 23s lost 3-2 against Germany at home. This was played at the Bescott Stadium, home of Warsaw, on a lovely pitch. I'm sure everyone's seen. I was quite surprised. It's their first meeting at under 23 level in over 15 years, apparently, which seems mad considering who it is involved. We had Chiara Keating starting in goal. But like you say, some great talent running throughout. England took the lead. Ruby Grant intercepted the ball, set apart one of the pod favourites, Michelle Agyemang, smashed an absolute beauty of an effort into the top corner to give England the lead. A potential Thunder Bastard. What do we think? Are we going with it? Do I have final ruling on it?
I thought you were
final ruling, Danny.
Okay, well, I'm going to give it to her then because it's Agyemang, so I'm going to give it to her. Yeah, and it's all about Alara. How am I pronouncing this? Saitler leveling the game when she stabbed it in from close range, and then she scored another one from an indirect free kick. It's one of those where it's inside the box and it's indirect free kick, and you don't really see a lot of them these days go in, but she smashed that one in. But then before halftime, it's 2-2. Agyemang got a second. Ella Morris, who's been phenomenal in these two games. I think she's been fantastic. She set up Agyemang for the second, so 2-2 at halftime. But it's Wadauer who scored to make it 3-2 later on for Germany. And then we denied them a fourth. Maisie Simons with a last-ditch interception late on to deny them. Chiara Keating produced another good save late on as well. So a few things to work on from that game going into the second win of the week. But all in all, a really good run out. Missy Bo-Kearns, I thought, had a really good game. Great energy up and down the pitch. I think she's been great. Agyemang, of course, we've spoken about her a lot last season when she was at Watford, singing her praises a lot. Hopefully she gets a little bit more game time at Brighton as well, because she's an undeniable talent. She's brilliant. Good to get her to get a brace. And again, like I said, Ella Morris as well, playing on the right hand side of defence, so much pace, so much power, running. And I want to see a little bit more of her as well in the coming months for Spurs, because I think she's got so much to offer. She's so confident in what she does. She's so confident in her running and her. She just gets the ball and goes. And I love that about a player who's just not afraid to go at people. So yeah, good performance from her. But unfortunately, a defeat to the Germans, as it so often is.
But it's not anything against kind of our talent, though, is it? Because you look at some of the unders from different countries and the youth groups coming up, and you think in a couple of years, senior teams like across Europe are going to be incredible, aren't they? Like everyone coming through, everyone trying so hard.
There's a couple of players in both games that you were like, they're definitely right in the fringes of the first teams. So this is the place to go. And again, good crowds at both games as well. So really good interest in this age group. And if you want to see the future stars, this is the place to look, because they play some great football as well. And
that's the thing. You just wish sometimes the senior teams would also play that creative. But we're gonna get onto it, are we? Thank you, Danny, for that one. Paul, I think we're going to come to you next. So this was Netherlands Germany, where the points were shared, but just Lineth Berenstein is just phenomenal player, isn't she?
She is a proper centre forward.
Yeah. Talk us through this one, please.
Like, Lineth Berenstein is Myra Ramirez, but Myra Ramirez without any of the exposure. Like, she's just this really powerful running, strong forward, and she is becoming more and more vital to everything the Netherlands do. Like, she was the top scorer in the last Nations League. She opened the scoring for the Netherlands against Germany, and even though the Germans actually outshot the Netherlands, it was one of those games where you think this could go either way right up to the end of it. And then another proper centre forward, Lea Schuler, equalising for Germany in first half injury time. Now, Leia Schuler is an interesting one because she is a player who will be familiar to a lot of people as the player who came in when Alex Popp couldn't play in the Euros final.
Yes, of course, yeah.
And kind of isn't really that well known. Is that fair to say outside Germany? Because she's mostly played in Germany. I might be being unfair to.
Yeah, I think you've got to be into women's football to know her, I think.
But she is an absolute junkyard dog of a centre forward, just like Berenstein is. She just loves the shithousery. She loves the shoving opposition central defenders at corners and making space. And she was very effective at doing that in the Euros final. And I think on another day, she could easily have been the difference. As we know, she wasn't. But certainly after Germany equalised, that 10 minutes after that, I was watching Schuler thinking she's due a goal the way she's playing. Against the Netherlands, she did exactly the same thing, bullied the Netherlands defence and managed to equalise. And then Sjoeke Nusken decided to make it 2-1 to Germany. Sjoeke Nusken, of course, who is the German word for Swiss Army knife. She can play absolutely anywhere. She's not actually the German word for Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, disclaimer, putting it out there.
That's Oberdorf. No. Another typical Nusken performance, just kind of forcing her way through from midfield. And then Berenstein doing her thing again. You have to be careful because we've talked before about the way that players of colour are discussed and how certain stereotypes are often applied to them that perhaps are slightly problematic. But Berenstein is absolutely one of those players. She is short, she is stocky, she is powerful, she's hard running. She is everything that you want in a centre forward. And she got the second goal, of course, for the Netherlands to equalise. And then the game kind of petered out a bit. And one thing I've noticed that was also kind of interesting about the Netherlands, Esme Brooks as a wing back.
Yeah. What is going on there?
That's Rachel Daly at left back kind of level. It's good to know that maybe it's a Dutch thing putting forwards as fullbacks. Maybe it's like a total football thing, but it's a strange kind of position, but it seems to work for the Netherlands. And just looking at them and going, the Netherlands should be more effective than they actually are under Andries Jonker. He's got them playing really interesting football, but Germany are doing that German thing of, oh, okay, they've been downhill a little bit. They haven't really done much in between major tournaments. I'm picking the Germans to go very far in the Euros again, especially with the motivation of finalists last time.
I was going to say feeling quite aggrieved from last time as well.
My early pick is they could be winners.
Oh, okay.
Because I have no confidence in England whatsoever. So retain them.
What? So out the group stages, yeah?
Possibly. I mean, when we're still playing a number 10 as a number 8 and everybody just seems to be fine with it. Mentioning no names, Grace Clinton, but anyway, you see, I'm letting the ranting go, so I will cut that off. So that was Netherlands Germany. I
was going to say, speaking of England, second half has started, still 1-0. Thankfully, we are only 3 minutes in though, so this time for
park the bus, park it, just park the bus. Come on,
yeah.
Nations League.
It's nice to see we've actually got the starting goalie as opposed to the backup like against Portugal.
Oh,
good save. She just made a good save there. So.
Hannah Hampton, though, her distribution. Oh, I've just seen the save. Yes, very good. With her left foot outstretched against Lucia Garcia.
I speak Spanish, so.
Yeah, this is true. Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why she's playing. Yeah.
They're gonna do this quick. Move.
Yeah. They're gonna pass it again and again.
Tiki taker for fucking ever. There you go. That's why the topical tag.
Oh.
There you go. I can.
Oh, I forgot mine. Oh. Danny, I do have to say I've now clicked what yours is. I thought it was just like good win for England. Isn't like get in there.
Double meaning.
Hey, for those who know, there we go. Now let's go to our next match report. Sean, we'll come to you next. Wales's first match away to Italy. It was a narrow 1-0 defeat. But what did you make of the game? How have they started this new campaign for you?
It's a weird one because I don't normally come away from a defeat feeling any sort of positivity, but I think everyone who went to Monza, who watched it on TV, I think lost that one, but you thought, you know what, there's some positives there. There was a bit of tinkering. Hayley Ladd normally plays defence for us, which I've never really understood, but played in midfield in this one alongside Hara James, and she's just a metronome for us. She was outstanding, and that allowed Maisie Davis to start at centre-back. Her first start, 18 years of age. At Manchester City, was at Liverpool Feds for a little bit, but City have recalled her, and she was brilliant. I've never seen an 18-year-old defender look so composed against a team like Italy, who were really bad, actually. I think they had a good opening 10. Barbara Bonacea scored from a corner 5 minutes in. That was the only goal. But apart from the opening 10 minutes and the last 10 minutes, Italy were really sloppy, just couldn't force anything through, sloppy passes. And the Italian press were telling us afterwards that that's the worst Italy have played. And this is an Italian team who have beaten Norway, Netherlands and Germany in the last couple of months. So the fact that Wales have restricted them to just that much was quite impressive. Going forward, I don't think we offered too much. There were some good runs from Hannah Kane, Fia Morgan came on. But yeah, it was just a bit... We didn't lack as much attacking intensity as I would have liked to have had, but we saw Marad Griffiths come on and make a debut. There was a couple of others. And overall, I think we were quite good. I was really impressed. And the fact that Rhian Wilkinson came out afterwards and said, I'm not happy, I'm disappointed with a 1-0 loss against Italy. You know, this is our first time back in Ligue A. We were in there one time before. We did okay. No, we didn't do okay. We were terrible. Let's be realistic. But no, it was a good, solid foundation. And yeah, I think we left Italy feeling quite positive about what was to come. And we'll talk about it later, but it was very positive what was to come.
No, 100%. And I'm just laughing because I could see Chloe start laughing and then Danny start laughing. My messages are going off saying who forgot to pay the bills. And now I've just seen it. So this delay is mad.
They're back on. They're back on.
Oh, they're
back on. They're still off for me.
So I've never seen that before.
Taylor Swift was back for a minute.
The lights.
It's like, what the heck is going on?
Matthew's put 50p in the meter, quick. Oh, that's embarrassing. What's happened there?
You reckon it's Phil Neville walking into the switch?
You got Phil in before I could. Disappointing.
I was on the ball. You were making a guest appearance on his walking back into women's football. You know, we were, like you say, Graham was there waiting for you.
Phil, lights come back on and Phil Neville's in the centre circle.
Yeah, on a podium, rising up
back into women's football.
He appears in the centre circle and the whole crowd just starts singing, say his name, and we believe in Phil Neville.
Well, I'm glad everyone in the stadium's turned it into a light show.
That's where Spain have just thrown an extra player on now in the dark.
Yeah. Oh, they're back on. We're good. How behind am I? What is it? It makes us laugh so much about streaming services, how it can be so delayed. But yeah, I'll just rely on everyone else.
With you here as well, couldn't we? Just like me and Chloe just eventually just stand up in a minute, start cheering.
Yeah. I hope so indeed. Yeah, Phil Neville with his WrestleMania 40 Undertaker moment. Oh, what a niche reference. What a niche. Sam's dropped in. Hello, mate. Good to see you. Yeah, no, honestly, I was very impressed with that match because as soon as I saw, 5 minutes, Italy have scored, I was like, oh, how are Wales going to reply? But like you said, they did so well to keep it at 1-0. And then, of course, even better, we're gonna talk about the match, the second match in a moment, which we can be very, very happy about indeed. So thank you very much for that. Chloe, we're going to come to you next. You're going to talk us through the first Lionesses game. This was away to Portugal, where it was an interesting game of two halves, wasn't it? So can you talk us through this one, please?
Yeah, it was definitely a sort of cliche game of two halves. There was quite a few changes that were made by Serena Wiegman with so many players, sort of key players out through injury. And also we had Mary Earps starting a goal, which is not something we've seen for a little while.
Because we all just assumed Hampton, didn't we?
Yeah, we all just assumed Hampton. I mean, she is starting tonight. So. But no, it's good to see her getting a bit of a run out, and obviously Jess Park and Grace Clinton starting. And yeah, quite a few good players in there. But yeah, I think it was both teams sort of got off to a fairly good start, but I think it was England that really dominated the first half. They scored their first goal in sort of 15 minutes with Lauren James, who seems to be, I mean, with this game going on, she's having a good game here, but doing really well both for England and for Chelsea currently. She put the ball out to the wide right for Lucy Bronze, who crossed in the ball. Then he has Alessia Russo, who managed to sort of find a bit of space between the Portuguese centre-backs and managed to put it into the net. I think it was probably deserved with how England played in the first half. It was definitely an improvement of what we've seen before, which, I mean, there's not much room for improvement because it
felt more creative, didn't it, that first half? It felt more free flow and a lot more.
Felt like we've sort of been stuck a little bit, and it's just, yeah, it seemed a bit better for England that first half. I mean, the stats for possession for that first half were England had 70% possession, so that shows you how much they sort of dominated on the ball. And yeah, I mean, possibly could have had maybe another goal, so maybe sort of need to take their chances a bit better, which probably I think is a pattern we've seen before as well. But yeah, second half was a bit of a switch with Portugal sort of having the better half. But yeah, they look brighter. They seem to sense that, okay, we're only 1-0 down. That's fine. We can get a goal. We can sort of take the game to them rather than sort of staying off of them. And I think it was the triple change in the 59th minute that made the difference, because they brought on Nazareth as well as Andrea Jacinto and Lucia Alves. And it was Kika coming on that really not just picked up sort of the fans, but also the players. They were just like, okay.
Because everyone thought she was going to start, didn't they? So it was quite a shock when she was on the bench and didn't come on until that late. Yeah, good.
Yeah, she was their best player, really. And is the one that managed to equalise. I mean, you could see it coming. They were just had so many different chances, and it was Kika who made, I mean, what a goal as well. She made sort of a driving run, straight off Grace Clinton, went into box and hit a beautiful shot into the top right-hand corner. There was no way that Earp's going to save that. And it was deserved. You could see it coming. And yeah, I think 1-1 was a fair result. I mean, if you're the Lionesses, you're probably a bit annoyed that you didn't take the chances. But if you're Portugal, you're quite happy to get, a draw against the current reigning European champions.
It's almost like they got a point for each good half they both played. So yeah, it felt quite good. I will just say though, watching this match tonight, England have upped their game. Like, I'm very impressed with the passing this evening.
We just out Spain for the last 5 minutes.
Out Spain.
Yeah. In terms of
finally.
Also, I'm pretty sure I've just spotted Basil as well, which is always a delight.
Hey, love Basil.
Did we get to the bottom of why he got that called? Was it because he's always just in a Chelsea shirt?
Yeah, just because he's
he's always there.
Yeah, I mean, Basil, legend. Right, my turn then. We're going to shout out some of the underdogs now. Gibraltar. Did we all see this one?
Come on.
Gibraltar appeared for the first ever official competitive international match, and they are in Group C. Now, annoyingly, they narrowly missed out on their first ever point with an injury time winner for Moldova, and I want to tell you all about it. So yeah, it was a dramatic 93rd minute goal. I'm going to try my best with these names, by the way, just let everyone know. From Moldova's Carolina Sabur, who broke the Gibraltarian dream of getting a point from their first ever competitive match. Throughout the game, though, Moldova did have the better chances, but Gibraltar, surprisingly, and luckily for them, they never looked out of their depth. I managed to find a very grainy stream to watch what happened, and they did. They looked pretty equal throughout, which reflected in the scoreline. Now, they had their own chance to break the deadlock from a set piece within the first 10 minutes, and you thought, could they get something from this? On the counter, it was Moldova's Claudia Scheiper who looked to be the most dangerous on the ball, and with 3 attempts on goal, all inside 5 minutes. So she was right there trying to break the deadlock. Each attempt did call Gibraltarian keeper Caitlin Robert into action, but she was able to deflect the danger comfortably. Now, as the game wore on, Gibraltar grew into a much better rhythm, and it was Joelle Gilbert that had her first chance on goal with a long-range effort in the 40th minute, so just before half-time. Unfortunately, it fell straight into the hands of keeper Muntinu for a comfortable save. Now, in the opening part of the second half then, both teams tried to create more, but neither possessed that clinical finish, and it was end-to-end throughout. With 10 minutes left, however, a glimmer of hope appeared for the debutant side, where Gibraltar's Gilbert crossed a lovely ball into the box, which Chapman was able to run onto. She took the strike with her left foot, however, connected with it at slightly the wrong angle. I still don't know how it didn't go in. And it hit the crossbar. So it's so close. Now, it was a lovely period of play for the visitors, and it wasn't long before Pizzarello had her own chance in front of goal, but again, the shot went just wide. And it was in the dying moments of regular time that Chapman once again looked like she could break the deadlock for Gibraltar, but the keeper was able to come out and save once more. Now, the home side certainly went out of the game, as the final few moments were the most dramatic. So it was initially Moldovan midfielder Doiban, who was found in space on the left wing. She cut inside, took a shot. The attempt then deflected. Did I just say detempt? The attempt then deflected off the Gibraltarian defender and onto the crossbar again. But it was Carolina Sabur's corner which created chaos as the ball came into the box. There was a goal mad scramble, and Gibraltar really, really struggled to clear their lines, but eventually did. Now, there was relentless waves of attacks. Now, bearing in mind, this is still in like the 90th, 91st, 92nd minute. So it was getting desperate at this point. Now, Sabur, once again, so she was key in these final moments. Now, it was very sloppy, very panicked, as I've just mentioned. She picked her moment brilliantly, let loose a beautiful curling shot from distance and sailed straight into the top right-hand corner. Robber reached for it, but she just couldn't get it. And in the final moments, Gibraltar almost got the equaliser as well, but it went into the side netting, so the angle was just wrong. So yeah, cruelly robbed of a point in the dying moments, but lots of positives to take into their second match. And they were in third place in Group C1, so not bad at all for their first ever competitive fixture, which was great to see. And we love being able to bring it to you all to talk about. So that was me. That was Moldova 1, Gibraltar 0. Right, Danny, we're going to go back to you then for the second under-23s match. And this was against France this time, where we got points, didn't we? So talk us through this one, please.
Yeah, just as Chloe Kelly and Nikita Paris come on for the seniors. Is that the right word?
Oh, I'm not there yet.
Right, that's it. Anyway, yeah, under-23s against France in the beautiful surroundings of Stevenage's Lamex Stadium this time. They know how to pick them, don't they? Walsall and Stevenage.
Stevenage. Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, another good crowd as well. It shows again how much the pull is and how much people are interested, are grabbed by the interest of the young Lionesses. Ajimang started on the bench for this one. We had a strong run early on from Katie Robinson. Created a chance for Isabel Goodwin. That's Goodwin.
Hashtag Goodwin.
Hashtag Goodwin. There's a header from Vicky Becco, who was pretty much the main standout performer for France for the game. She headed wide from a corner. France were pressing England well. We were doing that thing again of playing out from the back from the keeper. We've seen it a little bit tonight as well about with the full team. It's from the keeper playing out. France were pressing, but we seemed to settle a little bit after that and adjusted really well to them pressing and found a way to get around it, because it did look for a little bit like France were going to nick in and get a goal that way. But Becco again with a shot from distance, it was saved. Then they hit the post, but then we go at the other end and score. Isabel Goodwin, that's Goodwin. Got on the end of a ball from the right. I think it was Missy Bo-Kearns who put the ball in from the right-hand side. She got a little header in to take it past the keeper and then was able to tap in her own. She basically assisted herself for the goal, which is always nice to see. Yeah, in the second half, I think we just grew more and more into the game in terms of, I thought it was pretty even the first half. I think it could have gone either way, but the second half, I actually thought we really kicked into gear a little bit more. Ella Morris had a first-time shot saved. That could have been a Thunder Bastard, a potential Thundy B. We'll call that a PTB. She had that saved. Goodwin then hit the post after a really nice back heel from Missy Bo-Kearns again. Robinson had put a lovely first-time ball in. We had a chance saved from that. And then we brought on Ajimang. It was Katie Reid and Niamh Heron came on about the hour mark. Olivia McLaughlin was also on. She was really impressive, getting up and down the pitch quite a lot. Robinson again getting involved. She had a cross shot that almost went in. Ajimang had a shot that was well saved. And then we just started working really, really hard across the pitch actually to keep the clean sheet. It wasn't all about the attacking talent. We really dug in, and I think that's one thing that Emma Coates really wanted from that first game. Obviously conceding 3 to Germany, she wanted us to keep a clean sheet and to make sure some of the crosses weren't coming in as easy as they were against Germany, and we did a great job at that. The fullbacks were brilliant all night. Katie Reid looking really impressive when she came on. And we saw it out, and I think Emma Coates will be pretty happy with the overall performance. Stand-up performance, Katie Robinson, I thought was so full of energy. She's obviously got that first full team experience, hasn't she? She's got 4 or 5 caps, I think, in her bag already for the main team. So you could tell she was kind of a step above most other attackers in the game. She just took hold of it and was brilliant. I think that it probably won't be long until she's called up again. Ella Morris at fullback, Anouk Denton as well. Denton was brilliant throughout. Missy Bo-Kearns again looking strong. McLaughlin, like I said before, so really sort of positive stuff all over the pitch, and a great win against the France team that looked quite dangerous on paper. So yeah, really good response to the Germany game, but overall I think 2 great performances.
Fantastic. And it's so good to hear that again from a Villa perspective, like Missy Bo-Kearns and Katie Robinson are doing so well at under 23, because sometimes in the WSL either they're not given the chance or they're not given enough minutes to get into that rhythm, and it's hard to then see their place in the team, as harsh as that sounds, because they're just not getting that regular start and regular exposure, are they? So that's
I don't understand. Yeah, they need to be getting that game time. They can be game changers.
And that's the thing. Like we've seen what they can do, haven't we? And yeah, I think it's still a thing of like, even for cup matches, the youngsters aren't on the bench, and it's like where's that next generation gonna come through? But that's a conversation for a different podcast, isn't it?
Yeah. Can we just shout out the under-19s as well? If I go back the age which they beat USA 2-0. So always beating the USA is always fun, isn't it? So we beat them 2-0 in Spain on Sunday afternoon. That's the Albir Garden tournament, which sounds lovely, in Alicante. Also, you got Lauren Smith in charge there as well, the under-19s at the minute. Lola Brown and Jessie Gale were the goals for the under-19s. And Lola Brown, again, I think I mentioned her a few times.
Lola Brown, yes.
She's a name she's got some time off the bench for Chelsea in the Champions League, I think, this season. She's really coming through this year, and I wouldn't be surprised to see her move up to the 23s pretty soon. She's a top talent.
100%. And if you don't know our name now, you certainly will very, very soon indeed. Yeah. Oh, thank you for that. Yeah, it fills us with hope, doesn't it, for the next generation? Right, Paul, we're going to come back to you next. It says Denmark versus Sweden. And it was Sweden who ultimately came out the victors, wasn't it? So talk us through this one, please.
Battle of the Scandies.
Scandies.
The first bit we need to mention is there may be a bit of slight awkwardness in one particular women's football household.
I don't know what you mean, Paul. Tell us all about it.
Because there was a point where, now I've got to get this the right way around because I've got it both ways. There was a point. There was a point where Magda Eriksson decided to put in a typical Magda tackle, which she was rightly yellow carded for.
Yeah.
On Pernilla Harder. Now, I don't know whether they'd had a row over breakfast or whether there was arguments over the washing up or something, but let's just say that she didn't hold back, Magda Eriksson, with the tackle. And Pernilla Harder picked herself up and kind of, during the game, obviously in the heat of battle, there were a few looks exchanged, to say the least. After the game, though, it was lovely because the post-game interview, they were all laughing and joking about it and like, yeah, it's football. It happens. I didn't even realise it was Pernilla when I just saw the ball and then went over the top and took the angle. But, so on the pitch, they were lovely, lovely people. But on the pitch, it was almost like they were trying to prove that their relationship did not affect how they play for their respective countries. Like, because obviously for the vast majority of the time they played together. They played together at Chelsea. They played together at Bayern as well. And this is one of the rare occasions, where publicly we get to see a couple take each other on. And yeah,
not hold back, which is great.
They did not hold back at all. The game itself, though, again, Sweden. Sorry, Tony, but Sweden are a bit. I don't know what's going on with them. They don't look like the team that everybody was supposedly scared of. Like,
well, it's because Lena Hurtig's not there. That's why.
If you look at them, the actual goals itself was, of course, Pernilla Harder for Denmark, of course.
Yep.
After 17 minutes, after Linda Sembrant, who is the Gandalf of women's football because she's been around for flipping ever.
Gandalf of women's football.
I'm convinced her Sweden debut was like 1967 or something, but no, she's nowhere near that old. But she is very much Sweden's old stager, stalwart player. And she opened the scoring. And then Fridolina Rolfö, who incidentally was missing apparently for the second Sweden game. Obviously, we'll hear more from Sean about that one.
Yes.
But it was one of those games where you're like, the Women's Nations League throws up that you kind of wish more people would watch outside of like the people who are natives of that country, just because the storylines, obviously, with Denmark versus Sweden and that sort of thing. It was the kind of game that I really enjoyed keeping an eye on and watching, because it was like these are two good teams playing very, very well, who you normally only see in the context of playing one of the home nations, unless there's not really much focus on them. Anyway, it was nice to kind of watch them without that bias around them. But like Tony says, the Swedish attack, it should be better than it is. It should be so much better than it is.
Yes, and we were dominating, we're not doing anything with the ball. Which match was Rolfö's incredible goal? That's like one touch strike.
That was this one.
Was that. Yeah.
I mean, how she has not been more in the conversation for Ballon d'Or. If she was for want of a better word, a sexy country, because when it comes to women's football voting, there may be a bias towards certain countries in awards.
Hannah Hampton. Sorry, I know I'm behind, but Hannah Hampton, that save. Yes, that's why she's in goal. Sorry, yes, continue.
And like Fridolina Rofa is an incredible. Her and Carolina Graham Hansen, if they weren't Scandinavian, if they were Southern European, if they were Spanish or French, they'd have had multiple Ballon d'Ors by now.
Yeah. And you think, she plays for Barcelona. What more can the girl do? But you're absolutely right. It's
but she's not Spanish playing for Barcelona. So
of course.
That's her mistake. If she was Rolfatina, she'd have had 3 Ballon d'Ors by now.
Rolfatina.
Like
Rolfatina. Yeah, that's what it should be. I have to say, we're defending these corners very well. I'm very impressed. Exchange. It's quite nice.
That's because Spain aren't playing Jenny Hermoso, so they haven't really got aerial power.
Well, I mean, Monse Tome, again, different podcast, but yeah, her squad selections are interesting, aren't they?
The squad selections are RFF through her. She is the Donald Trump to RFF's Elon Musk. There you go. Sam's got his head in his hands now. He's like, oh, there we go. Politics.
Clip that up.
Clip that one up.
I was surprised it took that long for her to bring Athenia on, because normally she's on straight away. She only came on.
Athenia's a player who was disappointed. Like when she first burst onto the scene, everyone was like, "Oh, hello," and she just kind of sat there.
Same with Olga Carmona, though. She's got a lot of, people think she's wonderful because of, that one thing she did that we won't talk about. But for the whole, average. But, it's who she plays for at the end of the day, isn't it?
Maybe it's a thing with attacking fullbacks.
Maybe.
But
maybe.
Like, I just find it great that we have the Women's Nations League. I despise international breaks in general. And I always go international breaks with, oh, for God's sake, bring back the WSL. And then, like you say, doing the podcast stuff helps a lot, because it's like, do you know what? I'll keep an eye on some games that aren't England, because I honestly couldn't care less about the Lionesses in the Nations League in the grand scheme of things. Like,
I think it's the way the breaks are, though, aren't they? Because there's like 2 weeks here, a week there, and it's like, just have a section. Do your matches there. So it feels like they're running off again every week, and it just.
And I do think as well that it's really hard to relate to this Lionesses team in the same way, even that it was the Euros team, because even though it's the same players, they're just not as fun to watch, and they haven't got the stories behind them like Wales. They haven't got the stories behind them like I'm honestly going into the Euros going to find myself caring far more about Wales because of the actual stories there and the actual fact that some of the players playing there might be players I personally interviewed as well. There is that slight bias there, but there are players in the England team that I've watched.
Is that because the stories just haven't been told yet, though, as well? They just need to be told before.
Yeah, absolutely. Bigger media exposure, and the fact that you can see the growth of Wales as well, and you can see what's happening and where they're going, and that's exciting. That we're there to witness.
There's not the entitlement. The Lionesses have become entitled now. We as a nation have done that classic England football thing where we won something, now we deserve to win everything.
Wait, is it winning something the classic England? I've never felt that before, apart from Lionesses.
Attempting.
It's gone to England's heads and the whole Lionesses tax that we talk about.
To get Phil back in, it'll give us a sense of reality all over again.
As we're losing to Wales, we're losing to Scotland.
Well, I'll tell you what, speaking of Wales, Sean, we'll come back to you because this was an incredible point, wasn't it? So it was a draw against Sweden, which was phenomenal. But keep us going on that attack of, this is a rejuvenated Welsh side, and kind of how, talk us through this match and kind of how you felt watching the team get a point.
Yeah, I think it was quite. Sophie Ingle was saying on BBC afterwards that this is one of the best results in our history, and it really, I put it top 5 results Wales have ever had. We've only ever got points against 2 top 5 teams in the world ever. One was a 0-0 against Germany 2 years ago. Now we've drawn 1-1 with Sweden. And Tony, I'm not here to tell you it's a penalty or not. The referee thought it was, and I'm afraid I have to go with the referee. The referee's decision is final. But no, I thought Wilkinson's squad selection was interesting because she made 5 changes from the game against Italy, and Jess Fishlock was one of those who was dropped, which is a little bit of a shock. Rhiannon Roberts was dropped as well. And I think there was a feeling in the first half she may have tinkered too much. We had 2 new fullbacks in Charlie Escort on the right and Ella Powell on the left. And early on, I thought Matilda Vinberg and Ritten Cannerid were doing really well against them. And that's where the goal came from. Vinberg turning Escort a bit too easily, getting across in. Clark parried it into the only area where she would have been punished for it. And then Philippa Angeldal taps it into an empty net. And I think I was worried. I was really worried then because I thought, all right, Sweden could just go into a different gear here, but they didn't. And we go back to this Swedish attack, and there's just, I feel like there's no proper link between the midfield and the attack. There's no number 10 that's there to help all phases together. They need someone to do that because they were just, it was slow, it was tepid, and that gave Wales confidence. And then at half-time, make a triple change with Fishlock, Roberts and Hannah Kane coming on. And it was just about growing in confidence. Now, don't get me wrong, Sweden still had chances. Ritten Cannerid hit the side netting, and Stina Blackstenius obviously give her 7 chances and she still won't score. Hit the post after going clean through on goal. I mean, she was clean through on goal. I generally, can't understand how she managed that. But we go up the other end. There's a cross in from Kerry Holland. It's a handball by, it was a defender, number 3. I can't remember what her name is. Anyway, she handballed it. Look, it is dubious. It is dubious. And if there's VAR there, would it get overturned? Possibly. But again, I'm not here to argue that. And Kaylee Barton, who, ever since Wilkinson's come in, I feel like we've seen a different side of Kaylee Barton. I think we always knew she was a physical threat up front, bullies defenders. But with Wilkinson, she has bursts of pace. She's got really deft touches. She's quick on the turn. She's just a player transformed, and she stepped up and slammed the penalty, a proper penalty into the roof of the net. And we could have won it. Holland got a shot saved by Falcon. Fishlock just couldn't quite convert the rebound. But it's a huge point. It's huge. I mean, in our second game in League A last time we got battered 5-0 by Denmark at home. Now we're drawing 1-1 against Sweden at home. It's quite a turnaround. And today is Rhian Wilkinson's official 1 year in charge. And it's a stunning job that she's done. Still unbeaten at home in her games. Used 24 players in just 12 games, which I think is really impressive. Using the whole squad, which is one of Gemma Granger's biggest criticisms. I mean, I'm quite thankful that she's a Norwegian problem now and not ours, because this football is really turgid. It is predictable. But under Wilkinson, there's plan A, there's plan B, C, D. Younger players are getting involved. Squad players are being rotated. It's just really nice to see. And we go into the games not knowing exactly what the lineup's going to look like, which is brilliant. So overall, it's really positive. It's a good feeling. And now we're into, I think the next break's going to be difficult. We've got Denmark at home and Sweden away, which is going to be a really tricky double game. But we've proven that we can compete against one of the best teams in the world. And especially going into the Euros with England, France and the Netherlands, we need to prove to ourselves that, we deserve to be that. And I think we did that yesterday. We deserve to be competing against the top teams. And it's a very exciting time. I can't wait to see what we do in the next international break.
And it's lovely when you can see the effort put in, like you said, the thought between all of the different plans of action. You can see that process, and you can see it working and gaining those rewards as well, which is phenomenal. Yeah. Oh, thank you. And again, Wales are going to be our second team going into this. Of course, it is. We'll be keeping a very close eye on them. Chris keeps up to date. Just Naz on and Tooney off.
Could you just pick up something that Keita Paris just did a minute ago? By the way, I don't know if you saw it out of the corner of your eye. But
Probably haven't seen it yet.
She got fouled sort of near the corner flag. And while the ball's still on the ground, she did a little header. And she headed the ball from on the floor, basically. So on the floor header, I quite enjoyed. More of that.
She's so good at going down, isn't she? She's
get fouled all over them. Yeah.
Oi, now.
She's been getting fouled all over the place. And she got clattered in the middle of the pitch a minute ago.
Paul, I will remove you.
She does know when to stay on her feet and when to succumb to a challenge.
And that might be quite helpful in a competitive game as well.
Indeed.
When we're 1-0 up.
Indeed.
You know, like you say, there's knowing when to stay on your feet, but sometimes in football, there's knowing when it's most advantageous to go down as well.
Yes, absolutely. But just not to. I'm not going to finish that sentence. No, right. Yes. Where is the advantage? Let's keep it at that. Oh God, I'm going to get myself in trouble. Chloe, we're going to come swiftly onto you. This was Scotland versus the Netherlands, and we nearly had a shock on our hands, didn't we? So talk us through this one, please.
Yep, talking of teams on the up, that seem to be Scotland's day almost. Obviously, they currently have Michael McArdle in interim charge. I think this is possibly his final game in interim charge. Oh, hold on. Nope. Sorry, there's something going on in the game. Anyway, back to this game. Yeah, he made quite a few changes with sort of Rachel McLachlan, Kirsten McLean, Ailey Adams, and Lauren Davidson all starting. He had the likes of Sam Kerr, Scottish one, Martha Thomas, and Claire Emsley on the bench. And then for the Dutch, you had Van der Donk missing, which was unusual to see. We had the likes of Sherida Spitzer, Renate Janssen, and Chastity Grant all starting for the Dutch. But yeah, initially it didn't start so well for Scotland. It was they seemed a bit shaky, which totally understandable playing against the Netherlands. And the Netherlands sort of did have majority of the chances. It was sort of Scotland was just having to sort of stay strong, and Dutch sort of first 25 minutes they had about 79% possession, which that was kind of Scotland having to dig in and just soak up the pressure and try and not concede a goal. But it was Scotland that ended up sort of scoring the first goal, and it came from the first corner, which was about half an hour in. It made it to Rachel McLachlan, which her sort of shot went into sort of the crowd of players that were in the box, and it sort of just somehow ended up with going to Emma Lawton, who managed to sort of tuck it away. And what a 6 months she's had, because about 6 months or so ago, she was only playing part-time for Partick Thistle, and now she's playing for Celtic and has scored for the national team, which is that's the stuff of dreams, really. That if you're somebody who sort of plays football, you'd be pretty proud of that happening and being able to play sort of full-time and for your country. But that was also their first shot after the Dutch had about 9 shots, which that's a bit of an insane stat. But so they took their first goal. They almost made it 2 through Kirsty Hansen, but definitely Van Donselaar made a good save to stop it becoming 2-0, which was probably what the Dutch wanted. They wanted to be able to get back quickly into it, and they did. Linus Berenstein, which Paul sort of talked her praises earlier, she made her way into box, and it was quite a bit of space. After defending so well in the first half, Scotland kind of let themselves down a bit. They had this huge amount of space that she just sort of went into, and just deft little finish, which meant they sort of drew level. And then 10 minutes later, normal service resumed. Miedemar obviously involved, unsurprisingly. She put the ball in the box and then played it across goal to Chastity Grant, who started it in for 2-1 to Netherlands. I mean, Scotland are probably going to feel, they probably have felt gutted that they didn't get, anything from it, but they should be pretty proud of themselves and how well they did defensively in the first half and taking the lead. And I think the Dutch will feel aggrieved at having so many chances and not taking more of them. But that's probably something they need to work on going forward, especially going into Euros, where if you don't take your chances, you're going to be punished for it.
No, 100%. Because Scotland upped the ante again in that first part, like you said. But the Netherlands just inevitable as always, and the defence did crumble. That England chance, by the way, was so close to going in, and it just made us laugh. The replay when it zoomed in on Serena, where she was like, "Yeah, oh,
yeah."
That's why I stopped. I was like, "Look." Okay.
It's like that Ralph Hasenhüttl gif, isn't it? A meme that was going around.
Oh yeah,
no.
Oh, is that who that is? I always thought that was like Tony Pulis or something. That's really bad.
No, I think it was Hasenhüttl.
Ralph Hasenhüttl just goes, nope.
Can I just say, by the way, I'm really pleased that England are winning and having chances, because apart from anything else, it exposes Kata Cole as the absolute fraud of a goalie.
How long have I been saying it?
That she is.
How long?
Like, and Reina Paredes, who got absolutely wrecked, by the way, for England's first goal. If I'm put it this way, if I'm praising Leslie Russo, she's done something pretty damn special, and her spin off Reina Paredes put Paredes in the car park. Like, it was gorgeous. Like the only place he should be Paredes is to the Knackers yard at this point, honestly.
Yeah, Keith's has come down again. Oh, they're all over Nikita Paris. They're smashing her from all ends.
Lauren James is having a great game.
I didn't. That wasn't meant.
You did that on purpose, man.
I definitely didn't do that on purpose.
You absolutely did that on purpose.
On purpose. I would not. I would never do such a thing.
It's
outrageous.
Professional
Candidiati Diani's shirt number. No, Delphine Cascarino's shirt number all over again, isn't it?
All over again. Sean put this in the chat earlier, but it's so perfect now. If you're new here, welcome to the chaos of the Women's Section of Absolute Football podcast. Yes, welcome to Team Chaos. We love it here. Now we've got one more to talk about. Would anyone like to take a guess at what rogue choice I'm going to go for next?
Kazakhstan versus Armenia.
Ooh, no, but was that 6-1? Why have I got
that?
Is it the cancelled Congo versus Malawi game?
No. I just kept it to Europe. I missed a trick.
I've got a rogue one, but again, it was outside Europe. But I'm assuming we're talking about that after we've done this. Is it Northern Ireland versus Bosnia and Herzegovina?
It's not.
All of these sound like crap Eurovision semi-finals, don't they? Like...
I would watch that match.
No, Tony, it's not that game at all. I must have missed it. That one. No, I had so many choices. It was great. I could have gone for. Let's have a look. Israel 3, Estonia 1. That was quite a good game. I could have gone for Luxembourg 7, Liechtenstein 0. Could have gone for Armenia 2, Kazakhstan 0. However, I went for Montenegro 3, Lithuania 1.
Oh, see, that's the obvious one, you know. Got yourself a road choice. You went for the obvious one there.
I'm surprised no one said it. No, I picked this one because there was a hat trick for Montenegro in this one, which takes them to the top of Group C4. Now, Montenegro did dominate throughout, but particularly showed this as Kucha's first goal of the afternoon came in the 2nd minute. Okay, so straight away. And it was assisted by, I'm going to go, Tosvasic. There you go. Catching Lithuania. Hey?
Did she? That sounded messy. Oh, is that an England goal?
No, full time.
All right. Or maybe you were just really pleased with my joke about Tosvasic, which sounds a bit unsanitary.
Don't do that.
No, I said Toskovic. Which doesn't make it any better.
Sandy Toksevich.
Sandy Toskovic. Hey, these are real names. I'm reading them from my match report. Okay.
Can I just say as well, where else are you going to hear about Group C4 of the Women's Nation League? This is what we're all about.
This is award winning.
Yeah.
This is what we're here to do, because no one else is talking about. And you know what? Finding this information was bloody hard as well. So I'm going to tell you all about it. So yeah, Lithuania were completely caught off guard in the 2nd minute, as you would be. You've just started the match. However, a few minutes later, it was Lithuania's Galkina who had her chance in front of goal, but unfortunately for the visitors, missed the target. And it wasn't until the 20th minute that, I haven't made it easy for myself. Hang on. Don't take the mick, Paul, from what I'm about to say. Jonas Scheite. I kid you not, that's exactly what it says. Forced the Montenegro keeper, Kristovic, say that one, into a save.
Is that nominative determinism, or is she actually quite good?
Right.
Incontinentia.
You are all awful. Right. How would you say that? I've just put it in the chat. I would like everyone to have a go, please.
Biggest dickus.
Janoshaite.
Janoshaite. Janoshaite.
Janoshaite. You're constipated.
You're no good.
Church. Janoshaite.
That's what we'd like to say about you and a side bell.
Freya's, you can see the regret on Freya's face, can't you? It's like,
you know what? I'm trying to do a nice thing, guys.
Never
okay, I'm trying to talk about C4.
Be constipated, you're not shitey anymore. Like,
you're not shitey anymore.
I wanted to play in the WSL now just for that chance. Imagine.
Come on, poor old C4. Come on.
It ended 3-1.
I
refuse. I refuse to go any further.
Not talking about it now. Missed your chance.
Not talking about it. Not talking about it.
No, go on. Go on. Okay.
Fine, I will. Okay. Right. Are we composed, children? Are we ready? Okay. That person forced the Montenegro keeper Kristovic into a save, and the game then continued end to end with goal scorer Kuch having 2 more attempts blocked before Galkina finally got her name on the score sheet after her early missed chances, of course, for the equaliser around the 30-minute mark. It didn't take long, however, for Armisa Kuch to get her 2nd of the afternoon, taking the home team back in the lead, and the half ended 2-1. But minutes after the restart, of course, Kuch was desperate for her hat-trick as she had yet another attempt. But this time it was Lithuania keeper, Shashkute, who had to make the save to deny her. But in the 57th minute, it was all over in a carbon copy of the first, with Toskovic assisting Kuch to get her hat-trick. As the game wore on, It was Jonna Scheite who continued to be a threat in front of goal, but none of her efforts, unfortunately, were enough to get it over the line. Both teams were fighting right until the last of 7 minutes of stoppage time to try and take something from the match, but neither team could find a way through. So it did finish Montenegro 3, Lithuania 1. So there we go. Hashtag Team Chaos. Yes. 100%. But we got through it. If anyone does, I'm just going to do a blatant plug here. If anyone does want to recap any of the action from match day 1 and 2, I made a comprehensive list of every single match report, which took a while. It took a while, guys. But I did it. It's there. So if you did miss any of the action, if you go to thewhole115yards.com, it's right there on the front page. With match day 2, I'm finished most of League C, which I'm going to post first this time, with Leagues A and B to follow, with the conclusion of the 2 games tonight. So if you haven't checked it out yet, please do. It's on my page somewhere if you can't find it. But yeah, all of the action is there if anyone wants it. Right then. So the last thing I wanted to talk about then, now no one chose this as their game, but there was a lot of backlash, especially regarding the manager and will she stay on as manager. So this was a Republic of Ireland, and they won against Turkey, didn't they? 1-0, but they lost to Slovenia 4-0 on match day 2. And to everyone saying, oh, they lost against Slovenia, Slovenia aren't a bad team. Again, it's because no one really talks about them, no one really sees them. But they were the toughest competition that the Republic of Ireland were going to face in B2. Now, Carla Ward and Kate McKay both came out afterwards saying the first half was completely wrong, got it wrong tactically, awful, allowed 3 goals in, but they picked up in the second half. And even though you can't blame the playing conditions, but it wasn't great, not an excuse. Now, enter everyone saying, should be sacked. Awful defeat. But Sean, you can't judge your manager on 2 performances, can you? Especially with a win and a loss against 2 completely different teams. Like, what? Just what did you make of that?
It's tricky because I think Carla Ward's obviously going to try and come in and put in a new system in place, but I think maybe Irish fans have not really taken into account how tough these 2 games are. Turkey are a decent team on the up. You've got Galatasaray qualified for the Champions League for the first time, and Slovenia, you've got Presnica up front, who is scoring goals for fun for Frankfurt this season. So this is a team. These are 2 teams who know exactly what they want to do, and you look at that Ireland squad, and it's missing a lot of experience. With Fahy retiring, Julianne Russell retiring, there's a lot of inexperience there. The change in the assistant coach, and I know Denise O'Sullivan's quite vocal about. And when you add all that together, this is, whether Ireland like it or not, this is a transition period. Like, gone are the days of 2023 World Cup, I'm afraid. And what's worrying for me, if I was an Irish fan, is where are the youngsters coming into this side? Like, I think with all the other quote unquote home nations, you can see some youngsters getting game time, but in this Irish team, I can't see it. Like, not choosing to start Jessie Stapleton, I think, and putting Megan Connolly back in when Megan Campbell got injured. I think that's a sign of maybe what do we do? And yeah, it's going to take a lot of time for Ireland to get things right. And if they don't get promoted out of this League B, then that is a bad job. But no, full credit to Slovenia and Turkey, who, and it's just nice to see that gap is closing more and more between teams we perceive as the elite, good teams, and those who are on the up. I think overall it's good for football, but yeah, Ireland, it's work in progress.
Yeah, 100%. And again, it's 2 games, and it's everyone's finding their feet. And the good thing about Carla Ward and what we thought about her at Aston Villa as well is the fact that when she makes a mistake, she goes, "Yeah, that was me. Like, that was completely wrong. Like, I see that. We won't do that again. We're moving on, hopefully, to bigger and better things." Because Jesse Stapleton's having, you know, a really good season domestically. And you just think there's so many youngsters coming through that, again, they need experience at this top level. So, you know, get them on, you know, give them those last 10, 15 minutes, give them that experience to shine through. And yeah, you just think, is there anyone that anyone else wants to talk about game-wise or any other talking points from this week? So I think they were all my main ones.
I have two.
One is Europe. Two?
Yes,
Ooh,
one is Europe and one is not Europe. So
we were going to talk about that goal, weren't we, Paul?
Are we talking about one of the clearest Thunder bastards you'll ever see?
We are indeed. So let's start there. Take us through it, Paul.
Japan versus Colombia in the She Believes Cup. And it is in Arizona State Farm Stadium. And as a commentator, the game kicks off, and you can kind of tell that the US TV commentator is treating it like the other game in the Arnold Clark Cup. Like, obviously, him and his partner both sound a little bit annoyed that they haven't got the USA game. To be honest, they're like. So Japan and Colombia kick off, and the ball goes back to Yamashita in goal, and the commentator is going through his spiel as the ball gets launched forward and flicked up in the air. Colombia's Lacey Santos doesn't quite clear the ball properly, and it falls beautifully to the midfielder who I have. Unfortunately, I can remember the first name, but I've worried I'm going to mispronounce her second name, ironically.
Mispronunciations.
Mispronunciation. Yeah, see, karma is well and truly coming to get me.
Good.
So I'm going to double check it and keep you all in suspense very, very briefly, so I can get it right.
It's okay. We shall watch just as we're going through the highlights now on the debrief on ITV4. Paralluelo is currently highlighted, or is it Wabi? It's moved on to Wabi. Yep, there we go. Paralluelo passed to her.
Is anybody talking about how Aitana Bonmati was talking about how the Spanish team desperately wants to fight for players' rights while forgetting she plays on the same team as someone who definitely doesn't?
That's gone very quiet, hasn't it?
Okay, right. I'm going to get her name right now rather than
there we go.
complaining about Mapillon. So, Lacey Santos wins the ball on a fairly nothing goal kick. We are now 13 or 14 seconds into the game. The ball falls to Momiko Tanikawa about 50 yards out. And she does that classic midfielder thing of going in for a challenge and knocking the ball about 5-10 yards in front of her. At this point, you're thinking, oh, this is mildly interesting, but where's this play going to go? She's probably just going to ease forward. Momiko Tanikawa is not built like most midfielders who would hold the ball up and look for a through ball. Momiko Tanikawa decides to look up and hit a freaking Exocet missile of a left foot. And the fact that the commentator is kind of there, just literally still going through that, you know, we're great to have you join us for this game. And you can get in touch with us on Twitter. Strike from Japan from distance. Oh, my goodness. Like, your classic, nobody expects it. But it flew forever. It's one of those goals where time slows down because it's so far out. You've got time to see it hit, start to travel and go, hang on, this has a chance, this does. Bloody hell. It's like there are goals that you watch and you quietly internally go, that's a nice goal. And there are goals like that make you audibly watching it whisper under your breath. Like I was like, fucking hell. Like that is an instantly bona fide Thunder bastard. Like that is the dictionary definition of a Thunder bastard. Even in the Danny's sometimes too strict criteria, in my opinion.
I'm just looking again, just in case. But
because it's hit hard. It doesn't touch the ground. It flies into the top corner and it bounces not out of the net, but all the way across it.
Does it go outside the 6-yard box when it comes back out, though? I think it does.
Yeah. But... See, this is if you're gonna, we are going to argue.
It doesn't show it. The camera cuts out. The ball's rolling as if it's going to go out the 6-yard box, but the camera cuts away. But I'm pretty sure it would do.
I was going to say, get ready, chat here, because it is about to kick off. But
no, it's a thunder bastard. I want to get to bed soon.
Certified.
It's a legit pushgas award.
It's an incredible strike.
I think it's an incredible strike, and just a celebration, just the kind of stepping back with a little pat of the chest, like, I knew that was going in. Just
like, I had a feeling.
It was one of those goals that makes you remember why you watch football. Like, just yes.
Yes. Give some life back into it, and you're just like, that's exactly why we're doing it.
And that was after Japan, of course, beat Australia 4-0 as well.
Yeah.
Everyone. And the fact, I mean, we talked about, accessibility of women's football. It was so hard to watch so many of the matches. It was literally only about 3 or 4 that you could access normally. But without a VPN, without paying for an extra streaming service, without it. And you just think women's football is still very much in its infancy at this point. Put it on proper telly and just, remove.
What really annoyed me as well was that nobody really talked about that goal. Like, I kind of get women's football media has to focus very much on its own niche, if you like, and a lot of the time people do. But the fact that British football media, even the non-official but big podcasts, the ones that have the really, really big followings and are paid a ridiculous amount of money and considered to be the experts, and always like, oh yeah, we know about the Spanish league. You know which podcast I'm talking about here. Didn't mention it. Like, if that's in the men's game, you've got every single football banter account going, what a ridiculous strike.
Yeah, how have you seen this? Yeah, after this, we're going to have to pause it again and just like, everyone needs a moment for this. Like,
and it annoys me, particularly when you've got people working so hard, unpaid or not paid much to highlight things. Like, obviously, I'm going to big up Sean with the Welsh League here, because basically all I know about the Welsh League is from Sean writing. So, it's things like that. And then you have the USA, Japan, who are a big team playing in the She Believes Cup, which we're told is one of your big February tournaments that has a bit of history. And nobody's there just going, has anyone seen this? Like,
with the She Believes Cup, it was, watch it on Paramount Plus in certain territories. And it's like, but if you've got Paramount Plus in this country, why can't you watch it? Because it's the same streaming service. Why are you geo-blocking your, like, it just, because so many people were trying to be like, has anyone got a link? Has anyone, got access to something? Has anyone got any idea how to do this?
Say Tony's playing today, US versus Japan. I would love to watch that. I would care more about watching that than watching England versus Spain.
Yeah, I'd love that matchup. Yeah,
because that is going to be ridiculous. That's going to be, as they say in hockey, it's going to be a track meet. It's just going to be end to end, fast flowing football. The game as it should be played, not ticky tacky. And we can't watch it, and nobody will talk about it because they don't think enough people are interested in it. They'd rather talk about Beth Mead meeting Wynn for the 57th time or something.
It's unfortunately what gets clicks.
Maybe the way around it is to get Wynn to watch Japan versus Colombia.
Watch with Wynn.
Watch with Win and pick a completely random game.
Can I interest you in
Yeah.
Cyprus 2, Georgia 1? Or in fact,
Wins goal of the week. Wins winners. Like just you know how you have Larry the cat, which we all know isn't a cat using Twitter, but everybody kind of goes on with the fact it is. Just give someone set up a Twitter account for Win that throws stuff at, things like Tanikawa's goal and just goes, oh, my how does it even work? Because normally you say mummy and daddy for parents. Would you have to say my mummies were watching? While my mummies were away playing, I watched Japan versus Colombia. What a goal! That kind of thing.
And get it in that way. Yeah, possibly. I mean, just looking at some of these games, though, like who else is talking about? France 3, Iceland 2. Like taking a minute for the Icelandic scene that's up and coming. And I just think there's so many games that need more attention. And I know we only picked 2 each tonight, but because we literally could have been here forever. But there are so many hidden gems within women's football. But again, we're talking about it, and hopefully, everyone in the chat will, take something from this and pass it on. But yeah, it's still a long way to go, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the thing where it's weird as well because you have women's football going viral very briefly, or players from like Iceland, like I can't remember her second name. What's her second name? Her was the missile long throws. I want to say Jónsdóttir. Yes.
Wolfsburg.
Yes. Just remember when everyone watched the Iceland first game and there was this kind of brief talk of you've got to see this, and everyone went, oh, it can't be that impressive. And then she took the first throw in and everybody just went, holy shit.
That's why
we're watching Iceland now just to see Swedish Jónsdóttir take long throws. Yeah.
And honestly, we need more of it, but that is why we are here, of course, because we absolutely love it and we love talking about it. Now, Paul, did you have one more thing, did you say?
Germany versus Austria.
Yes, go for it.
Germany beating Austria 4-1.
Yeah.
And again, I want to sing the praises of Germany's front four because they are terrifying. Like,
they're looking very good at the minute.
Lea Schuler was the spearhead, but that 3 behind her of Eula Brand, Laura Freigang, and Clara Bull are absolutely like they might be the most lethal trio in Europe right now. They are the attacking trio that everybody says Toon, James, and Hempar. Like they are just incredible internationally. And I think if even if 2 out of 3 of them are on fire in the Euros, then everyone else is in trouble.
No, 100%. Yeah, because you said earlier, didn't you, that they were your early shout for going quite far, possibly even winning. Yeah, I can't wait. Can't wait for the Euros. It's gonna be phenomenal. So yeah, I think that's it. Look at us, 10:15. Who do we think we are finishing this early? Sean, we have gone on a long time before. However, you get a nice early night tonight. But Sean, thank you so much for joining us. Have you enjoyed a bit of chaos tonight?
Absolutely no. It's been great to be on with you guys to talk to them about some different games and all things international football. No, it's been an absolute delight. And yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, anytime, of course. Now, we're quickly just going to do some socials. I know most people do follow us already, but if you are new here, welcome. Thank you to everyone watching and listening. Please make sure you do like and subscribe if you can. And remember, it's not just us on a Wednesday. We've got the Absolute Premier League show on a Tuesday, and Thursday is Low League Chaos as well. So all starting at 8:30. Now, on Twitter or X, we are at Absolute Ball Pod, YouTube at Absolute Football Podcast, Twitch, exactly the same, Absolute Football Podcast. On TikTok, we are at Absolute Football Pod. Instagram, Absolute Football Podcast, just add the _. Blue Sky as well, we're all over on there, so come and follow us at Absolute Football. and Facebook, the Absolute Football Podcast as well. So yeah, thank you so much. So Sean, if you do want people to follow all that you're up to regarding Wales and your writing and everything, where can people find you?
Yeah, so my ex-Twitter account is @SeanMisra on the screen there. Same with TikTok, some absolute ramblings on TikTok, to be honest, about anything. But yeah, we've had a very exciting game in the Welsh League just now. Swansea have lost to Wrexham, so Swansea are not going to finish in the top three for the first time since 2014. It's quite the shock. So it's going to be a very interesting couple of days in the Welsh League. We've got 2 6-time champions in the bottom four, one in danger of relegation. It is honestly quite the story and a big old title race as well. So make sure you keep up to date with that.
Yes, perfect.
See, now I want to hear all about it. I know we're finishing, but now I'm like, right, can we have Sean back on as like a Welsh League update at the end of each show? We talk about the championship, and then it's like two massive champions in the bottom four, and Swansea. It's like, yes.
Yeah,
drama.
Weekly Welsh update with Sean. Yeah, 100%. Actually, Sean, before we go, just looking at the WSL fixtures, which I know we haven't mentioned, but we mentioned them briefly before the break, didn't we? But Sean, Brighton have got Chelsea at home this weekend. How are you feeling about that matchup?
Well, I'm hoping that Dario's found a plan B over the winter, over this international break. Do I think he has? No. I think Chelsea will run all over us. I'm not confident. There we go.
No. And after an international break as well, it's like, oh, that's the Chelsea game. Why has that got to be the Chelsea one? But hey, we're going to keep all of our fingers crossed that it's not a battering, because Villa have been there. It's not pretty. It's not a nice feeling at all.
Villa Everton in a relegation 6-pointer as well, isn't it?
Oh, that was a stinger, Daddy. You knew exactly what you were doing then.
You take the mick out of the accents. You take the mick out of what's going on.
Well,
and now,
the thing is, like all we've heard all night is Villa players doing good stuff, right?
So about that finishing at 10:15, that ain't happening now.
Yeah, it's absolutely mad. Like all the Villa players are performing so well in their international break. So hopefully they come back and
it means Villa roll in the league. Justice for Dre. But yeah, no, Villa are at home to Everton, which again, Brian did a fantastic job. It's going to be hard. I mean, again, if we can get a point, if we can get something, but we need to keep getting something, because the week after is going to be Palace Villa, so that's going to tell the tale of what's going to happen in the season.
That's a 12-point week, isn't it?
Essentially.
Yeah.
And it's away to Palace as well, so it's not going to be easy. But Sean, I am sure you're hoping Villa win that one.
Definitely.
Perfect. Oh, and Danny, thank you as always. Where can people find you?
Thank you. I was going to shout the championship out as well. Best league in the world, Charlton against London City.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so Charlton, obviously all behind Charlton, Graham, up against Shitty Bang Bang Kang.
Yes.
Shitty Kang. Didn't get that right. Sorry.
The Kang average Lionesses. There we go.
So yes, come on, Charlton for that. If you want to find me, at Danny Brothers here on Twitter, Danny the Brothers on Instagram, and at Phil Neville's Cat on TikTok.
Are you is that your TikTok, mate?
It's not. I'm not on
that
TikTok.
Would be incredible.
It will be now.
Google's to see if Phil Neville's cat is available.
Phil never got a cat. I feel like he couldn't call it because he whispers.
The new biggest social media sensation, Phil Neville's cat. And on the championship as well, there's a massive weekend in the northeast, Sunderland, Durham. Again, Sunderland need to get points from that, but Durham, of course, we know are doing very, very good things. Unexpected, but very, very good things indeed. In that one. And Paul, thank you very much as always. Where can people find you?
You can find me. There we go. Had to switch. At Paul W Radio, and you add the funny little blue sky edition, where this week you'll probably mostly find me ranting about Newcastle fans being entitled. Has anyone seen this? Because obviously Newcastle are playing Durham at Maiden Castle.
Oh, this, yeah.
And Newcastle fans are really annoyed that that apparently hundreds of Newcastle fans are missing out of this because they wanted a bigger allocation. It's a field. You don't get allocated in a field.
It's a field with a hill. There is no, and it's not even as if you can say, "Oh, go to Durham," men's ground. There isn't one.
There might be in a few years, but
yeah, might. Yeah. But at the minute, no. You've got the field of that's
friend
it.
Of the pod, if you do get to catch it, by the way, everybody. Again, more positivity. Friend of the pod, Tom Gary, had a lovely little interview with the new Durham owners a couple of days ago.
Very good.
Which is well worth seeking out in the Guardian.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, and it's onwards and up for Durham. Not quite a stadium yet, but hey, they've got new owners, new money now. Let's see. Yeah, Durham City's men's ground is in Leyburn. Yeah, but it's not St James's Park that the Newcastle fans want, unfortunately. But yeah, we will see. Time will tell. And of course, a big thank you from me. And if you do want to find more of me, I'm at Freya Writes across pretty much everything, or at the whole 115 yards, where, as I said, all of those match reports are live now. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us, watching on playback. And we will be back again next Wednesday at 8:30 with all of your WSL and Championship news. So thank you very much. Good evening and goodbye.